Hello and welcome to HorsePlayers Happy Hour. This is our show for opening day at Kentucky Downs. It is Thursday, August 29th. We've also got racing from Saratoga and Del Mar as well. Fabulous cast of characters going to be walking through these hallways before too long. I'm in the press box at Del Mar. Was able to make my second trip out here of the summer. Very excited about that. We've got a special guest, hopefully coming to us from the paddock at Del Mar any minute now, waiting for him to click in. But in the meantime, I'll bring in the usual co-host of this program if he's ready. Give me a high sign if you're ready there in the green room. He is ready. He's Jonathan Kitchen. What's up, JK?
Well, we're on time, huh? We started early.
Right on time, I'd say. We've been starting at 5. That's right, because you've been a little late for the 5. But yeah, I've been coming on so I can talk a little bit about the first race at Del Mar. I've been doing the 5 of.
I got you. All right.
We do have 2 minutes. We have a special guest coming to us from the paddock. I wonder, maybe he's expecting me to text him he's downloading the app. He'll be fine. I should test this stuff with people before we have them on, but this guy's young, so I figured he was all about it. Here he is now, coming to us from also at Del Mar, Ryan Anderson. Ryan, what's going on, man?
Hey, how's it going, Pete? How's it going, JK? It's nice to meet you guys.
Are you next door to me up here? I thought you were coming to us from the paddock.
I was going to, but the connection down there was bad, so I had to make a last second call to move up here.
So JK, Ryan is an intern here at Del Mar this summer, did a great job with Frank on his paddock seminar the other day. And he assured me, and I don't know if I believe him or not, but he assured me that he had that haircut and wore those shirts before you were on Fox. I don't know though. We may be dealing with a difficult situation.
No, I believe it. It checks out. It checks out.
Either way, like the style, JK. So it's a pleasure to meet you. And yeah, we're both doing the same thing, just opposite coasts.
There you go.
I feel like the odd man out, though. At least I have a fun shirt on. Ryan, it's your job to give us a winner in this first race at Del Mar today. It's a pretty competitive race. I thought on paper, I thought there was a word around for the 3 runner in this spot, but very curious to hear what you think and if you can give us an idea of the winner.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is a competitive first race. The word out on the number 3, being a half to That's a Mare, who is a decent turf sprinter in her own right. I landed on number 1, though. That's Naturally Blonde. Carla Gaines, Antonio Fresu's the jockey. Carla Gaines this meet has been great off the layoff with all of her runners. 4 furlong bullet, leading into this. Bred to sprint a little bit on top. Dam has been decent on turf in terms of production. I landed on number 1. Another horse I kind of thought was interesting and I'll be using on kind of all my tickets is the number 7. That's a Hallelujah High. That's for Peter Miller. Raylu Gutierrez on board today. Debut runner. I think the Peter Miller can be kind of sneaky on debut, especially in those turf sprints. Raylu on board this meet has been riding kind of first call for Peter Miller. And he's been firing pretty well. So that's a horse I like to use. Sire's pretty strong with the turf numbers in terms of debuters. Half to Straight Luck, who was 2 wins, 2 seconds, and 7 tries on turf in turf sprints. And then I like the drills at San Luis Rey coming into this as well. My top pick in this is going to be number 1, Naturally Blonde, and then the 7 kind of underneath and in my kind of horizontal tickets.
1 and 7 for Ryan, 7 with the possibility to really blow things up here on HorsePlayers Happy Hour. I think we started early because Kentucky Downs was messing around with their post times. I don't know if it's supposed to get hotter later or what's going on, but I know there's some weird stuff going on with Kentucky Downs post times. Hopefully that didn't put anybody away. JK, you've been the king of quick capping this HorsePlayers Happy Hour season. Do you see anything that stands out to you in this first race at Del Mar?
Well, when it comes to turf sprints, especially out on the left coast, the 5 furlong variety they have at Del Mar, to me, it's a speedy situation. I'm going to go with the 6 Chasing Cat, who has experience and has shown speed on a couple of occasions. Now, horse hasn't run since earlier this year, but does have speed. And so just got to hope that even if she doesn't like the turf, the race will be over before she realizes it.
You can see that in the Flying 5 sometimes. That dirt speed can really translate. So we'll see what happens as they're getting on to the turf for this one. I'm not last week, I actually, after you went off the air, JK, was actually attempted to call a race. It's very difficult. I'm not going to try that here, but we will talk our way through as these beasts get around the flying five. In truth, the 5 furlong race, that's the right one to call. You don't have to, take as many breaths, which is positive. So what we're going to do is we're going to, Ryan, we'll let you actually hang out. We'll talk about the result of this race. Then we'll let you go. We'll bring you back in for race number 2 at Del Mar. And we'll do our reset and talk about the tour leaderboard and examine the day's leaderboard and do all that fun stuff. If you're watching, wherever you're watching, let us know. Let us know what you think in these races. Let us know where you're watching from. One of the fun things about these shows is getting to interact with people from all over the world as they're getting ready to pop here in this first race at Del Mar. Betting pretty stable with those horses, many of whom we've talked about taking the most money. Little late drop there on the 3, that horse that it seemed like there were some tips around for, some decent prices as well. Somebody must be acting up back there. We don't have the right view to see who it is. I'm sure they'll be off very shortly though, as I'm trying to see if the house feed has anything different. Yeah, somebody's acting up, and I guess they're just waiting to make sure that goes. But now they are all in line and out, and was a good break. Really, it looked like for all of them, bit of a scrum for the lead with a big long shot out there at the front of the pack right now. 2-runner at 25-1. This tipped out 3 sitting in a good spot, though definitely being asked pretty early by the jock there. Seems to be picking up a little bit. The 1 got stuck between horses there for a second and had to check who's in behind. That 6-runner we talked about being asked now, waiting to pick up. 4, big long shot, 4 making a run as they enter the turn. They're straightening out now for the final furlong and a half, and the favorite's traveling very well going up to the 2, but the 4 continuing that move and having a real chance here to get things done at 24-1, and that's going to be your winner. The battle is for second, and that will go to the 1-runner. So some points if you had the 1, but people who had the 4 in this contest going to be in pretty good position, given the fact that you just have to be in the top 10% to advance to the qualifier on Saturday. We'll do the reset, but Ryan, I'll start with you. When you see, I lost you. Maybe he'll come back. JK, I'll start with you. When you look back at the paper on this 4, is there anything? Is this one that you can see anything in that? Is it one that you can have after the race, or is it one that you couldn't have after the race?
Well, I mean, it's a first-time starter, and so obviously it's you never really know for sure. But no, I mean, nothing that like jumps out that I'm saying, oh yeah, I missed that one. It's just that's what happens sometimes with these first-time starters. I didn't look at a workout report in my quick cap too, so I don't know if there was a nice work or not on this one. But
I just did another show with Michelle Yu, of course, married to Ryan Hansen, and she didn't tell me, hey, we're putting over a horse at 20-1 in the first race today. So I think it may be a surprise even to them. Very happy for Ryan. He's been unlucky this meet. A lot of seconds, a lot of horses that ran well. How about you, Ryan? Anything you see in any surprises? Anything you go back and look at in this horse that makes you think you should have given extra consideration, or is it just one of those first-time starter things that happens from time to time?
It seems to be mainly one of those first-time starter things that happen. Something that I did like with the 7 that I didn't really take into account with the 4 is that it's out of a Sir Prancelot, and I do like those Sir Prancelots debuting on the turf. So maybe that's something, but I mean, that wasn't something where the trainer had any, particularly strong numbers, whether it's first-time Lasix or first-time turf or debut numbers. So yeah, I just didn't really like the 4. So that was a horse that's, just going to beat me on this occasion.
They're horses, not machines. Yeah, I know Michelle has an eye for, I think she helps a little bit on the bloodstock side and definitely has an eye for the Prancelots. First time, average numbers, just 10%, but overall, some pretty impressive numbers. Looking through actually something that really stands out. They probably don't run on a lot of it out here, but Sir Prancelot on wet turf, 10 for 27. Pretty impressive numbers. All right, Ryan, we'll let you go and perhaps do a little paddock tour for us. Even if you come back up here to do the hit, maybe you can see them and give us some knowledge from down there. Ask Frank maybe if he has some special spot or something where the Wi-Fi is good. But you're welcome to come back up here as well. Good to have you on, and we'll see you before the next at Del Mar, my friend.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'll see you before the second.
Good stuff. Always fun to have the on-track correspondence for us. Frank will pop on a little bit later. Let's take a look at what's going on in the contest. If I can pull that up. I probably should have pulled it up before I started introducing it, but, these things happen. We've got, looks like a very solid number. I think being opening day at Kentucky Downs, you have a lot of people paying attention. I mean, the racing there just so incredibly competitive. We're 2 races in now. Let me pull this up. How much time do we have, JK, till the next race at Saratoga? If you can scout that.
They're like getting in the gate.
Gotcha. You have a quick pick for us?
No, I mean, I looked at this race. I thought it was I think the 1 and the 1A are interesting. They're both flying P. The 1's got speed. The 1A is more of a closer. I think the 1's going to rocket out of there to try to set it up for the 1A, but I think it could set up for the 3. So while I think the 1 and the 1A are the most likely winners, I would want to have the 3 if I was playing in this contest.
Take just a quick look there at the top of the leaderboard. Former final table participant Michael Cavana is up there on top with that big long shot. Let's see, 151 entries. So the top 15 will advance to action on Saturday. That's the $179 qualifier. Folks can also just buy their way into. Additionally, the top 10 will receive tour points, and the winner of the overall tour, of course, gets a $10,000 Breeders' Cup Betting Challenge seat. And then other top tour finishers will join what we call our exacta finishers in an 80-person playoff that awards yet another $10,000 BCBC seat added at no cost to players. At some point, I've got a list somewhere. Maybe I'll pull it at some point today, that we've got so much action with 3 tracks. But I did want to give credit to the people who've punched their ticket through the exacta so far, as they are off. And we are getting some serious action early from our jock on the 1, who secures a nice clear lead. That's Chateau out there with Bourbon's Hope, a big long shot up in the vanguard, as well as they go behind the trees. How do race callers do this, Jonathan? I guess they're higher than the trees. That helps. But let's see. Let's see what else is going on. Chateau really looks to have taken control of this race, 22-3, and going rather easily. Few moves coming from the back, but this might just be too much rope for this horse. That big long shot, Bourbon's Hope, hanging in there in second. Hatch at 4-1 back in third, followed by the 10 and the 9. But they're turning in, and Chateau is turning this into a 1-horse race. We'll see if he can find a little bit. This horse down on the rail, Hatch, looks to be sticking on pretty well. This long shot hasn't gone away yet. Meanwhile, Charging Arrow making a charging run from the back of the pack. Looks like he's going to collar Chateau, who's getting a little tired late, and quite possibly go on by. Another big price here, 12-1 in our third race of HorsePlayers Happy Hour. That 3 gets up for second, who made that long sustained run.
I understand it's early, but I think this is couple of crazy things. One more crazy thing, and I think that this is
double carryover territory.
But yeah, I mean, because the horse that won the first leg, I joked about on the other podcast that I'll be nicer on this one. That horse didn't figure. There's a lot of horses that made a ton more sense than.
What price was that winner?
I think the horse was. I'll tell you. I think the horse was like. Someone will probably type it before I get it. Maybe. I want to say 12-1.
Okay. Pair of 12-1 shots. There will be a lot of extra money today because of the carryover. You'll have some, I want to say people, but maybe you could argue machines with a lot of alls and a lot of legs.
Horse paid $16.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, there's Chris Couples, who decided to be looking for the double carryover. That would be something. I don't know what, I'm supposed to be whale watching tomorrow afternoon with Perrin and Susan coming out tonight, but may have to bring hopefully there's Wi-Fi on the boat, and hopefully I'm not like staring down trying to get the bet in when the whale breaches, but we'll let's not get ahead of ourselves. But 2 12-1 shots definitely gives us a real possibility. Usually we're here for the end of the NYRA card and we know if it was a carryover, but with as many added races as we have this week, we won't know that until until much later. But hopefully, folks will be paying attention. Lots of people in the comments like to say hi to our own Drew Coatney, Rob Capalbo back in the mix as well. Trish Smith, Kentucky Downs time. You either love it or hate it. I mean, I think that's right, but I think even those that it's not for respect, like what it's all about. I mean, you're actually the perfect guy to ask this, JK, because you're not a guy who loves chaotic turf races. But I mean, it's cool to have some, even if it's not your bread and butter, it's certainly cool to have something fun and different. And I'm not just saying that because they're one of our sponsors.
No, I don't have a problem with it. I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm not good at. And I don't do well in races from a betting standpoint that are more chaotic. It's just not my, I was joking with someone the other day, maybe it was Doogie. If you don't know who Doogie is, a famous Saratoga attendee, Doogie, I was talking to Doogie and I said, and I think maybe even Fazone was there too. And I said, guys, do you guys notice that like none of us were never alive or never hit these like $150,000 pick fives? Like I don't, and I go, this is gonna sound weird, and I say, I think it's because we're too good. and stay with me when I say that. What I mean by that, because that sounds different than what I mean by it. Like what I'm saying is that I have been playing so long, and they've been playing longer than I have, and we have so many good opinions and so many strong opinions and bad opinions too. But I don't like wasting money on horses that I don't think can win.
Right.
I don't like the all button. I don't like being very spready in a lot of situations. I don't like taking on horses that I think should win, will win, are gonna win. It makes my teeth itch if I love a horse to use other horses in that leg. And so what I mean by that, and maybe someone say, well, that's not good. Maybe, but what I'm saying is that I believe in what we're doing so much and what I'm doing so much that I'm never going to catch those sequences where 3 random things happen because I don't play for randomness. I play for direct hits. I play for my opinion to be strong and to be right. And so I know, like I said, I know it sounds funny, Pete, but you can say
I get what you're saying. I think there are times when I think it's wise to try to keep, there's plenty of times when I think it's wise to keep randomness on side, right? And have one kind of a race where, like, if you love 3 horses in a sequence, like love, I don't think it's crazy to try to have some combinations where you go super wide, not saying all necessarily, but super wide in other legs and can maybe catch something where you have 2 to 3 fairly goofy horses. But I also totally take your point that if you're trying to have more direct hits in the pick 6 and you're using other pools to leverage off them and having win bets and doubles and pick 3s and other stuff along the way, that catching that seemingly random pick 6, it's like even as much as they pay, you might lose more money along the way trying to do it. And it reminds me, in poker, this is 100% true. To back you up, in poker, who has more bad beats, good players or bad players? Right. And the answer is good players, because the odds are in their favor. So that when the random stuff is going to affect them disproportionately. I know that's not exactly what you're saying, and also sounds a little arrogant, but I do think there's something to that idea.
But I'm also admitting that I have a blind spot. And, but and I'm sure that like I can see like Pete, I can think about that the Vegas conference room where all the men go. Sometimes, and I can see like 5 of them like nerdily walking up to me right now and telling me how like why they're good because they can find randomness. But I can get creative, and I can tell you I can convince you why any horse could win a race and make it eloquent and like, but when it comes to like putting my money on the line, I have a hard time expecting for randomness to happen 3 to 4 times in a sequence, which is why that's what you have to do to hit those $150,000 pick 5s. Those $100,000 pick 5s is the randomness has to happen 3 or 4 times. And I don't my brain doesn't want to waste money on trying to catch 4 random moments. And for someone to try to tell me that they, you know, oh, look, I love this 15-1 shot. I love the 22-1 shot, and I loved the 12-1 shot. That's why I played the sequence. Okay, I guess, but no. No.
I like a 17-1 shot in this race that I feel horrible that I didn't mention on the stream. But if you listened to the opening day preview show that I did with Kate and Bradar, you got to hear it. So hopefully I'm not being a horrible red border by saying I like the 10 Copper M in this race at Kentucky Downs quite a bit. Let me see if I can find my note on the horse. That's the wrong day. One of these horses that had one of her best ever races, getting second in a listed stake. I thought the horse ran well in the prep at Ellis, closing into third with no setup. And I just thought it was a horse that could move forward at a price. We'll see how Copper M and the rest of these get on. Now, if I was having trouble telling you what was happening in those other races, I might really have trouble here. I don't know how Larry Colmus is calling this at all. He is so far from these horses right now who are about to straighten up for the false straight. Looks like number 1, Moonspun, is in the lead. Mrs. Gambolini second, Storm Miami, one of the logicals, in third. But, they've turned in, and there's still a lot of running here, and there's some horses being pulled out, making runs from the back of the pack. I'm sort of hoping and praying one of them is mine, but it does look like this Moonspun trying to stick on.
This is an E5 horse?
Yeah, it looks like there's E5 Silks down at the Wood, the 11, and then the 2 get the job done. That is a really hard place to. It's just tough to see even those moves. What do you know about this E5 runner, Bedazzle M?
I didn't even. Nothing.
It might be a Silks confusion. It might be a Silks confusion.
Oh, really? No. That looks like E5 to me.
Well, Bedazzle M, unless I'm completely in the wrong race, is Tommytown. So we'll wait and we'll see what they put up on.
It's race 9, isn't it?
This is race 9. Yes. Do I have that right? Was I talking about the wrong race the whole time? They did move post times, but I don't think I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think you're talking about the wrong race. I'm almost positive that was E5 Silks.
All right. Well, let's wait and we'll see when they pop it up here. In any case, we can tell you with confidence the winner was 20-1, and we have yet another price in the race. In the contest here. So I'm saying, those people who had the first price, they're going to be in the top 10%. You're not necessarily
you said
so.
Bedazzle, that was the 11.
Yeah, wasn't that the winner?
No, yeah, but the 13 was Miss Gambolini. It was E5 Racing.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the horse. You made that comment as that horse was slipping up the rail.
Oh, no, I was talking about the horse on the outside. Yeah, I confused you.
Gambolini, that horse ran well a long way, chasing that leader, just got tired. Did look like you what can you say from one race? But you wouldn't say the rail looked bad at Kentucky Downs off that. That horse made up a lot of ground late. Torres getting the job done. Once this goes official, we'll see how shook up the leaderboard got. Yeah. That's definitely all right. I was in the right race. 13 is E5. Rob says, sorry, I was slow on the uptake there. Sounds like Rob might have had the winner. He's saying rock and roll. I hope that's a good thing. I hope he's using rock and roll the way that I would use it. All right, what else do we have? We have a lot of stuff going on the channel. I just want to make sure folks know that we're going to have coverage of Del Mar, Woodbine. We're going to have coverage of Kentucky Downs. There is just a ton of stuff if you want to check out both the YouTube channel and In the Money Media, wherever you get your podcasts. All right. Next up is going to be, what's going to be next up? Del Mar, we've got 13 minutes, and then we've got Saratoga in 21. So Del Mar's next. We have a nice little break now. So we can talk about, did you say you looked at the Pacific Classic? That's a win in your in race we could talk about real quick.
Yeah, I got it right here in front of me. Let me pull this bad baby up.
Biggest story here is the filly, Adair Manor, taking on the boys. I will say that even though she's never run the 1.25 miles, I do think she looks like one. In the video with Michelle, I use the English phrase, shapes like one who will appreciate the extra ground. She certainly looks like the fastest horse in the race. My biggest fear was that she'd be bet a lot harder than the morning line. I think the morning line had her, well, let me check so I don't give you this incorrectly. The morning line had her at a price that I thought she was the clear pick at, but then I was scared potentially about her being considerably shorter than the 9-5 of the morning line. I thought maybe the 6 full Serrano was interesting in this spot. This horse was so good in that allowance race, and the distance, the horse has won at 1.25 miles. Was definitely slowing down last time going the mile, but had gone so fast. I was just curious if Full Serrano might be able to get the lead. And with Adair Manor having rated so kindly last time, maybe they just rate, maybe those two could run 1-2 around the track in either order. So I was thinking 6-7, 7-6, something like that in this year's Pack Classic. What did you have, JK? What are your opinions in the race?
Well, I got a couple of thoughts. So I always like to give people that tune into HorsePlayer Happy Hour just some fun behind the scenes stuff. So, well, I will say this about Adair Manor, and then I'll have another Philly story to tell you. Adair Manor, you know, when I did Cart Talk with Bob Baffert, he was telling me that they were watching the race and she got a little trouble last time early, and his biggest concern was she's just such a big filly, like she's just massive. And so like that idea to me translates very well to handling the boys and handling the 1.25 miles. That seems a lot safer. It seems to make a lot more sense. When you look at some of the other horses in here, like what, Dr. Venkman, who was in a 7 furlong stake 2 races back, this horse is going to go wire to wire in a 1.25 mile race against these horses. I've got no problem with the Adair Manor, and I love that. And I like to think that hopefully they were a little bit inspired by what Torpedo Anna did recently to make that decision. And funny enough, another Cart Talk story. This morning, I was pulling in off of East, right, the road that takes you to PTF's house. I was pulling in off of East into like to the Oklahoma to go to film Cart Talk with Johnny Velasquez and Todd Pletcher together. We did together this morning. And when I was pulling in to do it, my phone rang, and it was Kenny McPeak. And I was like, oh, damn. So I answered. He goes, you just drove by me. You almost had to get a tattoo. Yeah, you're right, Kenny. I almost had to get a tattoo. And he goes, I got to tell you, I was going to get one with you. And I said, well, Kenny, she ran her eyeballs out. She was sensational. You know, goes down to the Hall of Fame as one of the greatest second place efforts you'll ever see. And I said, she's going to take some serious beating the rest of the year. So he was very proud of her and how she ran. But look, I love this. I think this is something that I'm glad that Bob and them decided to do. It's not a tough Pacific Classic. So why not throw the filly in there and see what happens?
Would she be your idea of the winner?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I think she's. I don't. You know, you look through the field. You know, and we'll do a very quick cap. I mean, Il Miracolo, who got a fast number last time, but I mean. Substansador. I mean, if that horse ran around here, that was, you know, I don't need that horse. There goes Harvard. I love Michael McCarthy more than anything in the world, but this horse has been running on the turf a majority of the time.
Yeah, they are going here, by the way, for those that don't know. Cross entered on the turf, but I hear they are going in this spot.
Dr. Venkman wants to go longer. Reincarnate, I guess, is a little bit interesting, but just not fast enough. And the fact that the Bob's entering the mare, I mean, you got to think that he feels. I mean, Full Serrano, I understand what you're saying, but that horse would be interesting. It
requires imagination for sure, but it's
I mean, very fast pace last time, but the final number was kind of yucky compared to if you're thinking Pacific Classic kind of yucky.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll tell you. There's no flight line in here. No flight line.
I think might be the most conservative thing you've ever said on these airwaves.
But you know, funny enough though, I did talk to Todd and Johnny today while we're talking about this kind of classic division. I talked to them about 2 things. Oh, spoiler alert! If you're watching here, I talked to them. I said it took a couple of Hall of Famers to figure out the 2-year-old champion, right? Like Todd with saying he needed more space in between his races, and then Johnny saying that he learned that when he would grab him when he would send him away from there and then grab him, that Fierceness hated it. They've seemed to figure that out. He's run well since then. But Todd did say that the 4 weeks in between the Jim Dandy and the Travers is the best Fierceness had ever done. And it went from, I wish the Travers was 6 weeks from now, to can we run the Travers tomorrow? And so, and then they're pointing towards running just straight into the Classic. He's going to have 10 weeks. And I started to think about it. It's like, that's the norm now. If you look back at the previous Breeders' Cup Classic winners, White Barrio took the time from the summer. Flightline took the time from the summer. American Pharaoh took the time from the summer. Arrogate took the time from the summer. It's a lot of these horses. It's what they're doing now. And so, we'll see what happens with the Jockey Club Gold Cup on Sunday. We'll see what happens with the Pacific Classic, and we'll see what happens with the preps moving forward. But man, I got to tell you, I'm feeling pretty passionate about Fierceness's chances.
Yeah, very interesting. Still for those overseas, still saw some 6-1 available, which I think is going to be much shorter on the day. So something to think about if you're in a place where you're allowed to participate in those type of markets. Yeah, that was one. Torpedo Anna, for me, that was one where I was just never been happier to be wrong. I mean, it was so great to see. It was interesting talking to Nick Tamaro after the race that depending on which set of speed figures you used on the Thorograph sheets, apparently she fit the whole time. Just thought it was interesting because private figure makers that we know, public figure makers that we know, all had her too slow. But then there was also the case made by your colleague, Richie Migliori, that, that case that you hear a lot, it's overused, but once in a while it's true. The idea that a horse is winning so easily, they could have gone faster, probably some combination of those things. One thing we should talk about, and then we will bring Ryan back in. We'll start talking with about 4 minutes to post about this next race at Del Mar. That published figure of 111, very, very interesting, because wasn't it the only 2-turn race of the day? I mean, there's definitely some guesswork in there and some room for that figure to be lower. Do you really believe Sierra Leone ran that much faster than his best race in that spot? When you look at it that way, it's hard. It's hard to fully embrace the 111. But I mean, heck, even if it's a 108, a 107, you're still looking at a horse that, deserves to be in the conversation for, if not the outright favorite for the Breeders' Cup Classic. What are your early thoughts on that figure from the Travers, the 111?
I think the final figure should probably be a little bit lower, but the performance figure could potentially be that high. I need Craig Milkowski. I'm curious to see what they did time form US wise, because the pace wasn't all that fast considering the animals that were in there. Right. So, we talk about it all the time that you can only come home so fast. If Usain Bolt walks away from the first 10 meters of a 100-meter race and then comes home in the best 90 meters he's ever had, he's never going to have a fast final time to his standards. And I think the same can be said about a horse like Fierceness. Is like, although he ran as well as he did and he held off all those horses, the pace wasn't that quick. So it's still fast enough that we'll see what Arthur's Ride does. It's still faster than anything we'll see in the Pacific Classic. Whether you project it down as to the basement, it's still faster than what we'll see in the Pacific Classic. And we'll see what happens with Arthur's Ride on Sunday. But I do think the 111's probably a taste too high.
Craig has it exactly the same. Well, a little lower. Raw 129, which is like a 109 buyer. Upgraded 1 point. I don't think the Usain Bolt analogy applies here, JK, just because he ran the ideal conditions to run a fast final time are just like being efficient throughout the race. And check out this pace line for efficiency: 127, 129, 132, 129. I mean, he was just awesome, And with that kind of efficiency and being able to listen to the jock the way he did, I mean, he's just, he's got another huge race in him, and I think we'll see it in the Breeders' Cup Classic. I do want to bring Ryan back in because we have action coming up right here from Del Mar. Ryan, do we have you down there in the paddock in the Frank Scatoni spot? You might be on mute, my friend. That's okay. That's a tradition on the show. Let's see. Do we have you now? We still don't have your audio. Any troubleshooting ideas here, Jonathan?
Let's see.
Is it anything on our end?
I think he's just frozen.
Well, it's so weird. Frank gets good reception in that spot. I don't know why today is different.
Is he on his phone or is he on his computer?
That I don't know the answer to.
I think he's probably maybe better off going cellular than Wi-Fi or vice versa.
Ryan, not sure if you can hear that advice, but troubleshoot if you can. We still have several minutes. It says 3 minutes to post. The other thing I can do is try to just call you if you sent me your mobile, and then we can just at least hear your opinion on the race, for goodness sake. Let's see. Yeah, Frank says get off the internet, Ryan, and get onto the Wi-Fi, and you should be okay. But I'm going to call
Get off
you.
the internet, get on the Wi-Fi? You mean?
Yeah, get off the internet, get on the Wi-Fi. But I'm going to call. Oh, you must have a Focus or something on, Ryan, because you're not. It's going straight to voicemail when I call you. Well, it may not work out. We're going to do our best to get him. We just have a 5-horse field here. I think we finally won't get a giant price in the. We finally won't get a giant price in a race here in the contest. Let me pull up this leaderboard, though. I'm curious to see how that last result changed things. We have an Eclipse winning horse player in first place, David Harrison there, Mark Stovall, Michael Cavana, Julie Leboyko, who's our overall tour leader. Julie looking to really put some distance between herself and the field. Great to see her doing well. David Barnier. Oh, did I miss some names at the top? I missed some names at the top. Sorry. Dustin Vest in first place, 123.86. Our own Chris Couples over 100. Ooh, Jackson Muniz. Great to see him there. Looking forward to getting a chance to catch up with him maybe next week on BCBC Diaries. Matt Latexier been a regular. And then we pick up with Mark Stovall and Kieran Thornton, who did a great job for us early in the meet previewing the Del Mar contest. Reminder, there's another Del Mar contest this weekend, Pacific Classic. Go to the website, reach out to Chris Barr, get involved. And then there's your Eclipse winner in the tie for second with another Mark Stovall entry. Michael Cavana, Julie Leboyko still in a position to improve her tour score in 10th, but not quite the stranglehold I was describing. David Barnier, our own Trish with us today on the live stream. Great to see her name up there. Matthew Blanchette. Jim Kazupe, what a fun name to say. Another Jackson ticket right now, tied with 3 others for that 15th spot. Mark Wilgard, David Burke, and Wayne Tam. Let's see if we can pull a rabbit out of a hat, get a miracle here with Ryan. I think we have you now. What's up, buddy? We got you.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Okay. So sorry about that.
We got you, buddy. Who do you like in this race that's about to pop? Real quick.
I love the 3. The 3 horses.
Gotcha. Who do you like in the race?
The last. I think the 3 is who you go with.
Okay, excellent. We got it in. Thank you, Ryan. Stick with us. We'll see if we can. We'll talk a little bit more with you after the race. Well, your horse broke all right. You're up in the vanguard between horses. The favored. You got a real battle for favoritism here, and it's also the battle on the lead between the 4 and 5 runner. Right now, the 2 is the longest shot on the board, the second longest shot on the board. The 2 runner at 6-1, making a move up the inside. Others maintaining position far back to the actual rank outsider, the 13, as they start entering the turn. Really a bit of a head-knocking duel between the 2 and the 4, with the 5 runner and the 3 just in behind. 4 traveling really well as they get to the middle of the turn. Others starting to be under the pump in behind, as we'll see if this is either going to be a very impressive victory or a very early move from the 4, who's turning in and just miles ahead without any dangers in sight. It's the battle now for second. It looks like maybe the 5. The 5 or the 3 are going to finish for actually, there's another horse now coming on the outside. I saw just as they pulled the camera away. I have no idea who's going to run second. I can't see, but I'll tell you when they hit the line. Second place goes, wow, what a big, impressive performance. Second place does go to the 1 in that spot. I mean, that was impressive. A little bit bossy. No secret in the market at 2-1, but winning by a pole was not something I had on my bingo card. Was that a horse that was on your short list at least, Ryan?
Yeah, that horse was a B for me. Same with the 5. I just had the 3 on top. I thought you get a decent price off that last effort. And I thought if you go 2 and 3 back, I thought those figures fit here, and the race style kind of fit with how much pace was supposed to be signed on. We saw the 4 duel with the inside horse there, but the 4 was just too good. and just pulled away in the stretch. And yeah, as you said, won by a pole, but that's not what I had on my sheet.
Ryan, I want to get a little background from you before we let you go today. I think Frank's going to pop in for the third race. But how did you get involved in racing, and how did you come to work at Del Mar?
Yeah. So to start with the first question, got into racing. My friend brought me here to Del Mar, 2019 Pacific Classic Day. He had hit both pick fives on the Friday prior. So obviously me and my friends all just wanted to chase that. And we all got out here. I'm pretty sure I missed every bet on that card, but I never had so much fun losing money. And it showed me the racing form, showed me that you can kind of dig into the deeper kind of details of everything, get a more educated opinion. And when he explained to me that you're not betting against the house, you're betting against other bettors, I saw a real advantage there. So I just kind of stuck to it. And obviously growing up in a place around Del Mar and coming to this track is my first experience. It doesn't get much better than this. In terms of atmosphere, weather, views, everything, all the above. So that's kind of what kept me out here. And then as far as the internship, I heard through someone, a parent who worked at my old job. I was a kids camp director, and one of the parents worked here and let me know about the internship. So I applied, I got in here, and it's been an amazing experience since day one. Haven't had a single bad day, haven't met a single bad person. Just only kind of improve those connections. And yeah, I'm excited to see what the future holds, because this has been so much fun. And especially getting into the handicapping world of things has been, nothing short of great.
Awesome. Well, we'll be bothering you again. No good deed goes unpunished around here, and we appreciate you successfully winning the wrestling match with the tech. Never easy. Probably helps to be as young as you are, but we'll have you on again soon, my man.
Absolutely. Anytime you want. And great meeting you, JK. Good seeing you again, Pete, and take care. Hope to talk to you guys soon.
Excellent. Always love to have the young blood on the show. HorsePlayer Happy Hour, such a fun way to mix in a lot of people. We're going to have some more guests as the day goes on. Might even do a little bit of international look back. We'll see what we got as far as that goes. I didn't ever confirm that potential guest, but all right. So finally, a short priced horse in HorsePlayers Happy Hour. We'll see what that does to the leaderboard in a bit. Meanwhile, I might ask you, JK, we'll do a production meeting in the middle of the show. Do you think we should do, and we could do it as soon as now, potentially, though I don't think I set up local recordings. That's okay. We could just clip it out of here. Should we do a video for the Jockey Club Gold Cup? You're stuck on mute too.
I was thinking we could do it now, but I also thought we could do it production meeting Saturday.
Yes, I am working Saturday, so it will not take family time. And the race is Sunday, so it still has good lead time.
And we can do the hopeful then too.
Yes, that's right. The hopeful will have drawn 2 in 1 or 2 separate videos.
Hopeful, yeah, dude. No, I think we should keep them separate. But I think we should do it Saturday.
I like it. Okay, that's good. We'll do both on Saturday. I'm going to probably be down here early, and we'll also do we have our back-to-back little sneak preview, our back-to-back video we could do at the same time.
All right, if you're ready, I can knock that out Saturday morning if you're ready to knock it out.
So Eric DeCoster, our man, a lot of people have inquired about Eric, who's dealing with cancer. He's had his second chemo treatment, and he seems to be doing very well. His attitude is a 10 out of 10. And I asked him, well, what can we do to help? And he said, keep me busy. So I said, keep you busy? You're making a huge mistake. You better be serious if you ask me that with all the stuff we have to do around here. So I asked him to make a list. He did such a good job when we were doing our Triple Crown rankings of coming up with the top 10 list. I asked him to rank all, I think it's 16 back-to-back Breeders' Cup winners. And so what we'll do in that video, we may look beforehand and adjust it, JK, or we can just go with his, and then any mistakes you can just blame him. It's such wonderful cowardice from us.
We're gonna go with his, but if Zenyatta,
if she's not number one, we'll riot. Is that what you're saying?
Zenyatta, you know what though? I wouldn't be mad at Goldakova. I wouldn't be mad at She's
got to be top 5, but she doesn't have to be number. I mean, Zenyatta kind of has to be number 1, right?
I think
we'll
so.
see. We'll see what he does. We'll see what he does. There'll be drama here. It's going to be a great video. Now, we probably don't want to cover. What's your thought? My thought is maybe we blow through, let's say there's 16 or 18. You blow the first 6 or 8 is like speed round. Their names are all on the screen at once. And then maybe we do like a, those top 10 videos we did for Triple Crown were effective. So then we could do the top 10 actually showing like a clip of each and saying
yeah, but we could also, but no, I think we could do it in a way, assuming the video issue is not going to be a problem with graphics and all that stuff.
That'll be fine. We get permission for all that.
I think we go just 2 sentences, like blah 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 blah, but show the stretch run of every one of
do all of them. Yeah, that might be cool. Yeah, I think you're right. I think if we don't belabor any points, we should be able to. I'm trying
to think of all of them. Can we just do that for right now, and we can do it in the comments as well? So who are the 16? Can we get there? Can you and I
and the people in the comments get there with no cheating? This is like a quiz night at the pub. If you Google it, it does not count.
Okay, so here. Let me just give you some that I know off the rip. Zenyatta.
I'll tell you right now, I was way low with 16.
Zenyatta. Oh, there's more than that?
Yeah, there's 23 actually.
Really?
23.
Okay, Zenyatta, Goldakova, Goodnight Olive, Elite Power. Okay, hold on. Give me a couple more.
There's another one that many people would argue would be number 1 who you haven't gotten yet.
Is Beholder one?
Beholder is one. She's probably on anybody's top 5, not even who I was thinking. There's 2 more famous it's hard to say, but 2 equally famous back-to-back Breeders' Cup winners as.
Oh, did the Haas?
The Haas was not back-to-back. I think there was a year in between, right?
Okay.
He's not on the list anyway.
Okay, keep help me out.
Think of the most iconic race calls in Breeders' Cup history.
Oh, 'tis now?
Yes.
Okay. 'Tis now.
Slightly before your time. So
you know what else is going to throw me off is horses that won a juvenile race and then won.
There's a lot of those
because not the same one.
Right. I mean, that's there's a whole bunch of those. There's another one of them. Here's a nice hint. I gave you most famous race call. How about most infamous? I don't know what to call it. Most infamous betting scandal or betting screw up.
Oh, the pick 6, right? The pick 6 scandal.
I knew when I said scandal, I knew I was going to send you down the wrong path.
Okay, I got you.
Betting debacle. Betting debacles.
Who was in that? I'm trying to think. Okay, I'm just trying to think who's in there. Mendelssohn only won one. No. Is this a BCBC thing?
It was the last race on day 1 of the BCBC, and it surely altered the result of the contest. Well, who knows, but probably altered the result of the contest because it was a favorite horse that won. But if you bet him,
Modern Games. That's on. I wouldn't put that on the list.
It's got to be. I mean, he's a back-to-back winner. He's a back-to-back winner, probably outside the top 10. But I was just thinking of ones that I could fairly clue you into. They're off, by the way, at Kentucky Downs here. I'm not even going to bother. Just pull up your ADW and watch it yourself. It's impossible. I mean, you can only see them half the time. I said I wasn't going to call today anyway, and then I sort of I didn't really. Calling is when you use net. I think the difference is calling. You're using names, and you're like really making an effort. Just sort of randomly. Giving numbers is not calling. I will say this, as they turn in, there are a lot of horses in with a shot here, including the one runner, your longtime leader. But there's some horses storming down the center. So this will be interesting from is the rail good perspective. Because if the one hangs on from here, I'm going to say the rail is definitely good. It just looked like there were a lot of horses winding up from the back, and they seem to be flattening out. And this bugger is still going down the rail. Looks like the 4 might get this horse on the wire, but this was a huge race from the 1. And it was interesting. It seemed like the ones outside struggled to get involved a little bit. So
that's I'm always rooting for my man, Brendan Walsh. And obviously, I'm rooting for Tyler as well, just because for a couple of reasons. One, I mean, obviously I have a personal relationship with Tyler, being Bob Edwards' son-in-law, and Tyler's great, and I like him personally, but just put all that aside. The fact that he had the year he had up here and the meet that he had, And then like, you know, to not be able to really see it through because he had to do his job and finish his business and go to Kentucky Downs and riding these big races with, you know, I want to see him do well there because I think that he could have kept it at least interesting to get second. He could have had a couple of special days to make a run at IRAD to win the title here. But, you know, it's one of those deals where like, you know, I rooting for him to.
He's got a great book of rides. Kate and Bradar and I spoke about that on the first show we did, and I'm sure that will continue. Brendan Walsh won 8 races last year. I mean, unbelievable numbers. A must-use trainer. This one, bet and half off the morning line. Gets the job done. Irish Aces holding all the cards there at Kentucky Downs. That's the kind of line I try to slip in. As many of my co-hosts and I on Sky are always trying to make each other groan with bad puns. That's a good one, I think. 911 Turbo, big price in second. It'll be interesting to see, you know, how that's going to generate some points. I mean, place and show at Kentucky Downs are really interesting because of the breakage issue. You know, the fact that they have penny breakage makes those better, and just the big full fields and chaotic results. Like it would be an interesting place to, you know, you can bet. It's one of the few places I'd say you can bet long shots across the board and maybe do okay. We're going to have that full result here in a second. Siege of Boston also had to be among the favorites. Actually, only 5-1. They really bet the 10 runner off the board in that race, which surprises me. Chasing the Crown. Must have been some word around for that Mike Maker Paradise Farms runner. Bet all the way down into 4-5 off the board there. Where it comes 4-1-3-10, but still, hey, that's still off the board. What'll be next? Saratoga will be next. We're sort of trying to root in our double pick 6 carryover at this point in this one. Did I? When are they? How many minutes to post here? Oh, did they already ran? I missed the race, huh?
Did they run?
They ran. They ran right against Kentucky Downs. Hopefully, folks are watching on their ADWs.
The 3 one looks like 2's a crowd.
That's going to be another price, my friend.
Huh?
That's going to be another price, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I'm trying to look at my
7-1 off a 10-1 morning line. I mean, 12-12-7. We're
cooking with gas.
Yeah, I wish they did that thing where they told you how many tickets were alive, but we're definitely looking like we're ahead of the game. Let's see. So we now have time again. So you want to go? We can go back to our name. You want me to clue you into a few more?
Yeah, give me a couple of clues.
All right, best story in racing in the last 5 years.
What?
Best story, like human interest story in racing the last 5 years.
Oh, okay. Cody's Wish.
Cody's Wish. He's got to be in the top 5, doesn't he?
Yes.
For the story alone. Best American miler that I can think of.
American mile. Oh, sure. Wise Dan?
Yep, Wise Dan.
Oh, did Tepin win back? No, she didn't win back to back. She won 1.
I know. Oh, I needed her for my lungs in that second one. And
what about Nick's Go's one, right?
Nick's Go is one. Nick Sko won the mile, and then he came back and won the classic. Well, you named one of the other incredibly famous turf milers. You named Goldakova right off the bat. There are 2 more incredibly famous ones before your time, though.
Yes.
Miesk is one, and the other, Ramiro, before Mage, Ramiro Restrepo's favorite horse.
I don't remember.
You probably know this name, but famous Claiborne Farm. It's before your time. Lure. You must know the name, but
yeah, of course. Yeah.
Incredible older race mare. Ran some figures that were just ridiculous. Definitely within your time in the game. Bill Mott trained.
Oh, Royal Delta?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There's some great dirt sprinters. One in particular, you know. Here's my clue on this horse.
Oh my God, the Peter Miller horse that won back-to-back. Roy H.
Yep, he's on there. That's not Peter Miller's only one either. Different division, though.
The Turf Sprint filly?
Was he? No, he wasn't. I don't have the trainers next to this stuff, so I'm going by memory here.
What's the
But
church sprint? Is there a church sprint that went back to back?
There is. There's a couple.
Oh, that whatever that.
Let me double check if I'm right about the trainer on this horse, because I think the Miller. I'm pretty sure this was Miller. And help us out in the comments here, folks. You're leaving us high and dry. I'll tell you what. You can even cheat. Yeah, this one was. It's complicated because started off in the O'Neill barn, ended up in the Miller barn, and but did win won 2 Breeders' Cup Turf sprints for Peter Miller.
Who was it?
Only 5 years ago.
Yeah, I remember because Kenny Mayne had bet the horse and had on flip-flops with dress pants at the Breeders' Cup. My guy. The horse was a 12 hole, Philly against the boys. What was her name?
This was a boy. This one was the one I'm cluing you to now. We did talk about Roy H. We got a comment about Roy H. We got him already. The one I'm thinking of now is Stormy Liberal.
Oh, yes, you're right. The filly I'm thinking about only won one, and her name was.
Yeah, come up with that.
I got it. And this is the one that had Belvoir Bay.
Gotcha. Only
because
one.
He won because Peter Miller won 3 in a row.
Yes.
Stormy Liberal,
2 Stormy
Belvoir
Liberals,
Bay.
and then Belvoir Bay. Unbelievable. God, I think.
Misdirection. I just cheated, but I didn't mean to.
At least you missed it. You could have been like, another one just came to me.
No, I never would have known.
Down.
Misdirection.
It's going to be fun remembering these horses, putting them in order, arguing about it. I'm excited.
I have a question, and I'm going to look it up. Has there ever been a juvenile winner that went on to win the Classic? Has that ever happened? Juvenile.
All right. Well, I'm trying to think. So Street Sense was a juvenile winner that won. Yeah, I'll take. Can we ask this question again in 8 weeks, and the answer is going to be yes?
Ooh, Essential Quality was so close.
Yep. This is good because we can pull this out. It can be that fact that everybody repeats endlessly for the for our boy Fierceness, trying to become the first juvenile winner to complete the double with
right. Unless am I wrong about? None of these horses did, right? Like Vindication, Johannesburg, Macho Uno. I don't even know that horse's name. Answer Lively, Favorite Trick, Boston Harbor, Unbridled Song, Timber Country.
Nope.
Rocco, Gilded Time, Arazi, Fly So Free, Rhythm. Is It True? Success Supreme, Capote, Tasso, Chief's Crown. None of those horses. No one's ever done it.
No one's ever done it. I'm surprised nobody has decided that there's a jinx yet, the way people like to decide.
That's wild. But it's got to be because you're worth so much money if you're a 2-year-old champion.
I think it's just random, right? I mean,
damn, American Pharaoh would have done it if he didn't get hurt.
Right. Pharaoh would have done it for sure. And I'm trying to think, right. So many of those others just they just came late, they came around late. It is, there might be a little something to it in terms of the precocity you need versus, then making it through your 3-year-old, making it through the Triple Crown unscathed and still being in top form at the end of the year. It's probably pretty darn hard to be at the top of your form at the end of your 2-year-old year, go through the rigors of the Triple Crown, and then be at the top form in the end of your 3-year-old year. That makes sense to me, actually. And your point about if they won the grade 1 at 2, they're not going to probably be. It's not too often they're going to run it 4. So I think
they're 2-year-old champions, so their value from us,
they're paid and made, as it were. Probably another word you could throw in there, but this is a family show.
Yeah.
I like the nonsense we get to do on here. It's fun.
Why do you think I always have to say bye to Frank when he comes on?
I don't know. Maybe you guys secretly don't like each other. He's resentful about being your Uber driver all those years ago. You said, I'm going to stay awake. I'm going to entertain you. I'm going to give you the best of Jonathan Kinchin. You get to the exit.
My
That's
wife.
The way I heard the story.
My wife, Frank, don't feel bad. My wife got so mad at me last night. we got, we're home early. We had dinner at home. No, we're not out. It's the closing weekend, so we're going to be out a lot. And she's like, hey, let's watch that monkey show on HBO Max, like about that crazy monkey lady with the Tiger King, but monkeys. And I'm like, yeah, all right, baby, we'll watch it. We'll watch it. She said I didn't make it out of the opening credits.
Well, here,
you got logs over there.
You guys are looking at this all wrong. Don't feel sorry for me. I couldn't wait for him to fall asleep. I want to turn on a tune and just. It was the best car ride ever back from LA.
Crank your music and enjoy yourself.
Love you, JK. You know I'm just kidding, man.
I know. Trust me. I'll probably be giving you bad beat stories about how I needed a horse down the hill or something,
Well, I was thinking about that down the hill because you told the story about the car ride. One of my favorite stories about you, it's not even that involved. It's just I remember how much you loved Bobby's Kitten that year down the hill in the Breeders' Cup turf sprint. And I think about that race all the time. To this day, I don't think I still have ever seen such an incredible performance from a horse going so far back and out of the picture to exploding in the lane and getting up to win that race. Incredible.
It was insane. It was absolutely insane. And I've told this story before on my way out, but like I had written, we had an apartment building situation. We had an office and we had a whiteboard, and I wrote on the whiteboard, I will go all in on Bobby's Kitten at 3-1 or more. I wrote it on the board. I thought he was going to be the favorite. I mean, which is probably stupid of me and naive of me back then. But I knew no matter what. And then once I saw the price, I got a little bit nervous, but I still bet a lot. And
I remember.
I had a bunch of friends with me. I had like 10 non-racing friends with me. They all bet. And that was like the most unbelievable finish when he turned for home and came rolling down the middle of the track.
Oh, I remember. I remember you say that your whole day was based around that horse, and you stuck to your guns and your conviction, and you did it. That was great.
Was it not? We spent a whole show, JK, talking about back-to-back Breeders' Cup winners. Was it not a back-to-back Breeders' Cup winner who let you down in the spot when you were getting cheeky and trying to up your amount of money to bet Bobby's Kitten? Am I right about that? Do you know who I mean?
No, it was that filly. I don't think did she win the year before?
Misdirection.
No, it wasn't her. It was
yeah.
No, it was the
Misdirection was a downhill horse.
It was a gray horse that started with a V.
In which race?
And the filly and mare sprint was the race before Bobby's Kitten.
Okay. Ventura was a Frankel horse.
No, it wasn't. No, it was a breed. I feel like Paco Lopez rode the horse, which makes me want to kind of throw up now that I know that. 2015 Breeders' Cup.
Look this up.
There's got to be some historian on this listening here who can help us out a little bit.
The people in the comments are great, but they have not been helpful with our historical questions tonight. Maybe they were all just know that if they started to answer these questions, they would cheat. So I do respect that they stayed out of it rather than do that.
All right, let's see. Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Sprint. Who won? Wesley Ward won with Judy the Beauty.
Yeah.
The Beauty. Okay, yeah. She was nice. I remember her.
I'm not getting that. Hold on. Let me tell you the horse I bet $3,000 to show on. I'm embarrassed about it now, but I'm mature enough to admit it.
Sounds right. The V thing sounds right.
It is definitely. I got it. Hold on. Here we go. It is.
This is why I wanted him to fall asleep in the car. I just wanted to listen to tunes.
Because if he did this, you might have fallen asleep, and then it'd be a very different. The shape of the company.
It wasn't. It was. I was right about Paco Lopez. It was Stone-tastic.
Oh
Weird.
wow.
Stone-tastic. I wonder what the heck we were thinking of with a V. Stone-tastic.
God dang, she was 7-1. 8-1. What was I doing?
Who trained?
Kelly Breen.
Kelly Breen. Oof.
She ran 4th. Now look, if she ran 3rd, I would have went all in on Bobby's Kitten, and it could have been magic. No, I would have blown it the rest of the way, but
you made up for it later. 2-time second in the
That's right.
Betting challenge.
That's right.
When there were a few more players than the other guy that did it. So hey.
Well, if you've ever run second twice, and that's your biggest accomplishment, I've canceled it out.
Till the next time, my friend. We'll
love you guys.
We have our
Bye,
plan.
Frank.
Saturday morning.
Take care, Jonathan. See ya.
We'll talk soon. That was fun. Fun show.
Awesome.
It was great to Great to get Ryan on the airwaves. He wrestled through the technology very, very well.
Yeah, I
You
was
should have tested
watching,
me
and
with him, I guess I just was too darn busy. I apologize for that.
no. I should have come down here and set him up because he came down to my spot. Yeah, I don't know why it didn't work. It's funny because he said he was on the cell service, but that's how things go sometimes when you're doing a live broadcast.
He turned it off and turned it on or something because we got him back in here in time for a tip. So that matters. All right.
So
I
it looks
think
like a lot of people had that bomber in the first race, huh?
Yeah, there've been so many prices. Our secondary situation here on the show now, Frank, and we won't be here for the end of it, but we will be here for one more race. We're rooting down all the favorites at Saratoga to go for a double pick six carryover, which looks quite likely.
That would be very nice.
Yeah, we're excited. We're excited about that. We've got 3 races left in the show. One at Saratoga. And wait, this must need to be updated. Yeah, I have to. This isn't updated because we've.
Yeah, they're on the turf course right now at Del Mar, so you have a little time.
We'll be ready for that. I'm not. My throat and brain are not in the right position to attempt to call races today, Frank. I've been just talking them through. Probably a great relief to you in the audience.
Well, I thought you did a good job. I thought Matt Miller was a little harsh to you last week. He's a tough critic. He's been
a little harsh lately. Hopefully he's watching and will appreciate this joke. He's been a little harsh lately.
Maybe it's a little tough love. He really wants you to fulfill your inner calling as a racetrack announcer. So he's pushing you a little bit. I like it.
Oh my goodness gracious. Well, we've got 3 minutes here till Del Mar. Tell us about this race.
I thought this race and the next race were so tough. It's a pin stickers race. I started to use that when your guest a couple of weeks ago threw that out. He was awesome. I really enjoyed listening to him. And I asked you about that term. I asked Steve Anderson about that term. 2 guys who go to racing a lot in England. I Googled it. I became obsessed with it. So to me, this is a pin stickers race. Just stick a pin in any horse you think could win. It's really, really tough. I ended up just by going, just playing simple trainer angle. Peter Miller wins so many of these 5 furlong turf sprints. It's uncanny, even with horses whose form does not look all that good. I landed on number 1, Mr. Iceman. He's got the best turf jock in the colony, the best 5 furlong turf sprint trainer in the group, dropping in class. But really, it's anyone's game. I had no strong opinion. I ended up using the 1 in the contest. Was 12-1 on the line, got bet in half. So a little live, maybe.
I like the case. Steve Goldberg, who's here, owner of the Pacific Coast Grill, just asked me for a horse in this race. I'm just going to parrot your tip.
Give him the 1. What did I do? I went 186. 186.
Okay.
Try to beat the 5. Try to beat the 5 here. 7-2.
8-6 for exactas, I'll tell him.
Yeah, the 6 will come flying late. Always does. Probably won't get up for the win, but a good underneath key horse. The 8's super obvious is the favorite taking the money. I really thought originally I wanted to really like the 5. Little. I know 9-2 on the line, but I expected the horse to be a lot shorter. 7-2. I thought that was the main threat. But again, Mr. Iceman from the rail with Peter Miller. Seen a lot worse 6-1 shots. So, but then again, I've been terrible on these broadcasts. But anyway.
We'll get some winners before too long. You can't, form is fickle, class is permanent, to use another great English expression.
That's right, exactly.
Tell us, did you learn anything about the exact meaning or etymology of pin sticker?
No, I mean, it's just basically what we thought. A race that is so competitive that you just walk in, stick a pin,
throw a dart,
stick a pin. Exactly, it's out throw a dart essentially.
Yeah.
Super competitive race where so many horses can win. You don't have an opinion. You walk by, you stick a pin, like pin the tail on the donkey kind of thing.
Any case at all for the 2 or the 7? Can either of those possibly hit the board?
I like the 7 a lot more than the 2. I think the 7 has a big chance actually. It's got good speed. Adam Kitchingman has very limited starters, but he already has a win at this meet. I'm looking at the price on the 7, 30-1. Absolutely.
Okay.
Dropping in class from Calbred Allowance Company, I believe. It's hard to see the form out here on my tablet because it's so bright. But
yeah, it's a little
it
bright.
It is bright, but no, I actually, I think that horse has a huge shot.
Interesting.
And Gonzalez and Kitchingman teamed up for a win already, and Kitchingman, who had hardly any starters all meet, already has 2 wins at this meet. So that horse is definitely live. I didn't realize the horse was going to be 30-1. Wow.
Yeah, that's wild. What was the morning line there?
The morning line was 10,
Okay.
which was about right, but
Some real value there then.
yeah, I mean, wow.
Late money for the 8. They're all about in here.
Yeah, if this was a live contest, I think I'd be all over the 7 at the price. You get a cap horse who has a chance.
Yeah, that is a fun thing about a knock of mine on Pick and Pray is when you don't know the price, something is very much divorced from handicapping when you're making these bets without a knowledge of what the price is going to be. That horse being a perfect example.
Yeah, but that's also part of the fun, right? You have to try and think about that.
Yes, but it becomes like, I think it's more shopping for actual prices is more interesting to me than the game of guessing a morning line. You know what I mean? Halodic. Is it Halodic, the forerunner?
Yeah, that's
right now. Hot Pursuit with the 1 coming down at the rail. That's Mr. Iceman. They're straightening out, and there's several in from behind with big chances. The 7 making some big long strides in the middle of the track, hanging a bit now as the 3 seizes control. That's Terry's Boy. The 8, Give Me the Loot, making a run, but this is going to come 3-8-6 in the end. Decent price, 5-1 last I saw on Terry's Boy. This was one that you were mildly against, as I recall.
No, yeah, we didn't talk about this horse, but was not one of my selections. And I certainly wouldn't have used the horse at 9-2. I thought there were other places to land, but like I said, I do okay, and then I hop on this live stream and I turn into a pumpkin. I don't know what it is. I don't think I've had a winner all meet on this show.
It's going to turn around, and we need to furnish Steve Goldberg with some picks. We need to give him if you have a run, send me a run. We'll talk about it on air, or just, you know what? Let's do the run now. Let's just go. How well have you looked at the rest of these races?
I did. Today? Well, I did the newcomer seminar today, so I had to give out all my picks for. I did. Just list 3 horses a race for the people out there.
9 minutes at Saratoga, so let's send Steve some. Don't have to do a pick in every race if there's anything you hate, but let's go ahead and send to him.
Well,
so
I didn't super love anyone here, so I'm just going to give you what I gave out to the peeps. Gotcha. 643.
Race 4, 643. Race 5,
475.
And yeah, if we can do a best bet maybe out of one of these.
Yeah, I'll see if I remember who my spot play was for the Frankly Speaking column. Let's see.
Yes,
6.
We can dig that up easy enough. Those pieces have been great. Again, I know you said you weren't gonna, put quite as much into it as last year, but it sure seems to me that you have.
Well, it's hard not to. You sit down and you start writing, and there's so much you want to say. So, I have so much fun doing them. The one I wrote about today was just a little tidbit from the draw party that we were at on Tuesday for the Pacific Classic. Terry got this excellent photo of Baffert. I believe it's one of the connections with the Dare Manor. I didn't get to meet her. And then Josh Rubenstein and Joe Harper. So it was like it was an incredible group that she captured. So I just wrote a little bit about that. That was fun. All right, so race 6, 692, and I had 6 as the spot play, even though the horse is 2-1. 5-2. There's there's 3 Bafferts in there, all of whom are going to take some money. So I thought that was a little interesting from a single that horse and try to get a little value if the other ones, there's an 8-5 Baffert, cost $900,000, probably really nice, but going 2 turns for the first time in the debut. So that's always tricky.
Yeah,
so anyways, 692 in race 6. Race 7, I went 839. And then race 8, I went 761. So
right.
Just to have a little action.
Steve is at the Stretch Run Grill East. Do you know where that is?
Yeah, that's the tables all the way on the grandstand side. Those outdoor tables.
I'm being harassed by an Australian. the sex dragon himself, Andrew Brown, joining us through the windows. I'm not letting him on this air because I don't know what he'll say.
No, he
God's
cannot be
honest.
trusted on a live stream.
No, not some
unless
people
you
are
have
not
unless you have a bleep button.
Yes, 7-second delay. In effect, that's when you bring in the Australian, because they're gonna use a word that rhymes with my favorite Todd Rundgren album, and we're gonna be in all kinds of trouble.
Oh, that is funny. He is quite the character. We love Brownie.
He is good. He does a great job on the videos, and he works
awesome.
for a lot of different clients and does consistently excellent work. I mainly think it's his partner Dallas Abel, but he's obviously not bad either. 6 minutes to the races at Saratoga. It's the with anticipation. So a really cool race. Possible Breeders' Cup implications here, 2 for sure. Some interesting runners in this race. One that I have to bet is the 3 Test Score, because this is a horse that I really liked in the Catch a Glimpse Stakes, which is the prep for the Grade 1 summer. Now, famously and unfortunately, Woodbine, whenever that was now, 2 weeks ago, had those torrential rains and had to cancel. Test Score did not get sent up there for the reschedule, but we're dealing with, even though this is a short field, I think the pace could heat up here. You've got horses who are laying down some serious pace figures, and Test Score at 6-1. I mean, it makes sense in the sense of here's a maiden in a Grade 1, but this is a maiden that finished up really well on debut, and you got one of the biggest prices in the race. Trainer, needs no introduction in Graham Motion. Very, very interesting runner there. There's some interesting shippers in this race. A French first-time starter in America for Chad Brown called Zulu Kingdom by 10 Sovereigns. Interestingly, some USA pedigree on the bottom out of a Smart Strike dam. The colt himself is Irish bred. You probably have to respect this one as good as this team has been. What are they? Was there no
there was an inquiry. Yeah, I don't know what they were looking at. It was very tight late in the lane, but it didn't look to me like anyone did anything wrong. It was just a bunched group, but they ruled no change.
The other interesting thing here, we have Charlie Appleby participation. Appleby so dominant in these type of spots. Interesting to see him chasing a prize like this. I seem to have lost my form here somehow. But let me tell you a little bit more about that horse in a sec. I somehow toggled to Del Mar. That's where it all went wrong. But the Appleby runner is a horse called Caballo Bay. And this one had a nice run around Haydock, winning effort in a stake. I mean, if you're winning a listed stake over there, and this horse has also won. I like that this horse has won on the synth at Wolves and Kempton. No, it didn't win at Kempton, but the horse has gone left-handed, which is always a huge question. Why is this horse 9-2? That's interesting. The market thinks they know something about this Son of Pinatubo, but I'd be interested. I'd play the 3 and the 8 against the field here. And in fact, those are some tickets I'm going to punch in here while we talk. I think this is a real interesting race. The 7 and the 9 are the favorites. The 7 I told you about, that was Zulu Kingdom. The 9 is this horse, Tenacious Leader. Very odd, making a turf debut. Just won the maiden in an off the turf race, but seems that's
10-1 on the line.
Yeah, this is aggressive betting. Somebody thinks they know something with this one. I don't know if it's a Clocker report. I bet you it's this work. 4-48, best of 96 on the turf the other day for a 2-year-old colt. I have a feeling some Clockers were, there might be like an A around or something.
Right.
Like this, and we know how the Clockers control the market so much. So that's actually your favorite now as they go to post. I'll fade the hype and back the horses I like on paper. See if we can get the 3 or the 8 in here at Saratoga. 2 minutes to post there. So I know you're doing the deep dive on Del Mar and the stakes laden card because you and I are going to do a plus show. We're also going to have a horse by horse video with Michelle Yu and me that's going to be dropping later tonight. Make sure you subscribe to the In the Money Media YouTube channel to get a look at that one.
Is that for all the stakes races you guys did that, or just the Pacific
No, we
Classic?
just horse by horse the Pacific Classic.
Yeah,
And
still, that's fun.
she had reminded me, did you tell her about this? Or we had made some joke about the taming of the ewe.
Yeah.
What?
I got a big bruise on my arm because someone ratted me out. No, I was telling you last time. It's so funny. Telling you last time on the show, I forget how Michelle came up. I was telling you that how over the years she'd give me so much business. Like,
Yes.
oh, Scatoni, you saw every show we do together, she'd make it a competition. And like, so just talking trash over the years. And we had her, I had her do my seminar last year, and the winner, whoever picked the most winners, was going to get a bottle of champagne. So of course she won, but talking. Okay. So when it comes time to give her the bottle of champagne, Terry's with me, and you know how Terry is. She makes friends with everyone, and so her and Michelle ended up hitting it off. And I think Michelle at some point realized, like, oh, maybe I'm a little too mean to Frank. Maybe I should tone it down a bit. And since that point, she's been still gives me the business, but like in a softer, kinder, gentler way. So Terry and I would joke the taming of the ewe,
That's the taming of the
based
ewe.
on the play, of course. So I don't know how she found out about it, but at there was a Santa Anita hosts a really great party every year, and they had it last Saturday. And I'm sitting there and I'm talking, and all of a sudden, someone punches me so freaking hard in my arm, and I look over and she goes, "Really, Scatoni? The taming of the ewe?" I go, "Oh snap!"
She loves theater, at least, so she might have appreciated.
No, I know she does. So she was probably all about it,
Yeah,
but no, then she smiled and gave me a hug, so it's all good.
Okay, it's all good. Yeah, Billy was supposed to be on with us today and ditched us. As I joked, I don't know the real.
I know he's Australian, but he's so germane. He's so germane from Flight of the Conchords. Very germane-ish.
Yeah. I needed to get some air. We might need to make a clip of that, stitching the two things together when we say, "Oh my God, that was tremendous." It gets very hot in here. I don't know. Did it used to not be as hot during the meet, or did those radio guys just have like a big fan? Or
I think they had the door propped open, and then when they were ready to go live, they'd shut it, do their 2 minutes, and then prop it open again.
Right.
But there's no circulation in there.
Yeah, the 2 hours we're doing today, not an effective.
Well, see, I've used those rooms before to do the podcast with Mike, but that's only a half hour. So and by the end, I'm drenched. 2 hours in there, that's like you're gonna drop like 10 pounds. It's a hot box.
Well, might actually be beneficial then. I think carrying a little extra condition lately. They're loaded.
Yeah,
here
I know the feeling. I think in the contest, I think I used the motion horse. I did it like 2 in the morning last night because I knew I was going to forget if I waited until today. So, but I just used optics to do the Kentucky Downs and the Saratoga races. So I don't know what any of the form looks like on these horses, but I think I'm on the 3.
Nudge, the leader, going into the first turn. That's the big long shot, actually. I mean, we're definitely talking pick 6 carryover if this thing gets home. But that favorite, the first-time turf, Irad Ortiz, Pletcher runner, tenacious leader in clear second. I'm going to work a little bit to keep up with Nudge. This has got to be a fast pace. This has got to be setting up for our horse Test Score, who's currently back there in 5th. 3rd place at the moment, going to the ex-French Zulu Kingdom, with a little move now coming from Cavallo Bay, the other horse I like, the Appleby runner, up in 4th. Test Score sort of in a joint 5th with the only other runner in the field. That's number 2 without caution. Cherie DeVoe runner making progress. Unfortunately, it's not going to be Test Score's day. He's being pumped on from the back of the pack, yet to respond. Meanwhile, up top, tenacious leader getting to the throat latch of Nudge, this longtime leader, and his stablemate. Tell you who's getting a perfect trip. It's number 8, Cavallo Bay. He's making a little bit of a wide run around the turn, but he had a nice run in behind. We'll see if he can respond to this urging, while the other favorite, Zulu Kingdom, now making a big run up the wood, and looks like he is going to get through, and then nobody going to catch him, I don't think. As I say that, of course, the tenacious leader starts finding, but that's how it's going to come. The market wins, I lose. Zulu Kingdom over Tenacious Leader in the With Anticipation, a race that's going to bear some scrutiny because it will have major implications, I think, for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. One race left in our contest. It's Del Mar race number 4. We talked about it a little bit already. We can do a leaderboard before we get to that. That'll be a couple of minutes before it gets up there. But this is a pretty nice performance from this horse. We'll see how it comes back on the clock. I mean, race run pretty ideally to suit with that fast pace and a good trip saving ground and getting the run up the inside. But certainly a horse that already had credentials based on that French run and does the business in the With Anticipation. You notice, were you able to watch that one? Did you have a second screen up? Any observations?
No, I didn't watch it. I was just looking to see who I had in the contest. I actually had the 2. I don't know why. I can't even remember making the picks last night. I was so dizzy trying to get everything done. That was without caution, the Manny Franco and the DeVoe horse. Let's see. Going into that, I was in 55th out of 151. You know,
you were in with a shot. You still are. You have a price. How big is your price this last at Del Mar? You just got to get 15th. That's the fun thing about these contests. There's so many ways to win. Top 10%, you advance to the extra contest on Saturday. And then if you can get in the top 10, you accrue tour points that can serve you in a number of ways. Then maybe best of all, if you're in the top 2 any one week, you have a chance you will be in an 80-person contest for a BCBC seat. So pretty tremendous value for your $20, especially with the money going to Thoroughbred Aftercare. In our case, the Therapeutic Horses of Saratoga. They're our new charity partner. I think we might have that wrong on the website, actually. We still have a relationship with our old pals at the TRF, but with Kim Weir, our founding charity partner, going to Therapeutic Horses of Saratoga, they're going to be our beneficiary this time around. So just a little note on that. Getting ready. I'm going to go up to their fundraiser, Frank, first weekend of October. I'm going to be back out here for California Crown, and then I think I'm going to go to Saratoga the next weekend. The Bacon Brothers are playing the fundraiser at the farm, which
no way.
I dig them. They're a lot of fun. I don't know what you know of their music, but
I've heard a little bit. Yeah, I've heard a little bit.
In October, I mean, it should be beautiful. Early October is such a great time up there in Saratoga. Hopefully I haven't jinxed it by saying that. But
if we're talking about actors who also play music, a long time ago, I saw Dennis Quaid play at the Belly Up.
Really?
Yeah, he's pretty good. Yeah, he's a bit of a rock and roller. It's like you could tell there's some country influence, but it was rock and roll. Oh yeah, he was really good. But this is going back. Gosh, this had to be like almost 20 years ago, probably. It was like when I first moved out here, long time ago. What's going on at Kentucky Downs, if you don't mind me asking? Because I have 2 morning line price horses in the last 2 races, so just curious to see what's going on.
They moved everything up, so I think they're done. So who did you?
Maybe I'm not refreshed here. Hold on, let's see. Entries.
I think it was meant to get hot later in the day, and they moved. So thus they moved everything up.
Okay, yeah, my alternate won the race, of course. I got 0 points in there. So I have the 3 here at Del Mar, and the 3 is 14-1.
So you probably draw in live 14-1. You use the rule of 3, the quick and dirty rule of 3.
Right.
How many points you might get, right? So what's that? 42 points.
45 points.
Yeah. Once we this is going to go official in a second, and then we'll be able to check.
Okay. But it was chalk, right? It was chalk.
Yes. End of the day, there was. I don't know if it was top chalk, but it was chalk. It was that Irish Aces horse, and then Clock Tower with Jamie Spencer doing the steering, getting it done in that last race. I didn't even realize the 11th. I don't think I had the 11th in the contest though. So the 9th was the second to last contest race. That was that Bedazzle Him that won. The 11 runner in race 9 was one of the huge prices, 42.88, and then Irish Aces chalk in the last HHH race because they moved things up and it all got goofy.
Got all screwy.
Yeah,
It was like when there was a delay at one track in one of those multi-track pick fives, and they had to void the whole bet because one race ran before the other. Do you remember that? That was a
Yeah.
couple of weeks ago.
Oh, it's
Only
so
in racing.
frustrating.
Only in racing you can find ways. You can find another way to lose just when you think you've lost. You've lost in every way possible.
It is.
Can you imagine having that sequence and then having it voided because the races were run out of order?
It's not good. We've had that problem nearly with contest jockey. We think contest jockey would be such a fun format if you could do 5 races in an hour. But that exact problem is
Delayed
why
post times. Yeah, whatever.
if a race
Shoe repair in the
crosses,
paddock.
what can you do? You know what I
I
mean?
know.
There's no fair answer. My one idea I had that might be the best idea is you settle races first past the post on the probable win pays, because those probable win pays, once they pop, are extremely accurate.
Yeah.
So, but it just would be so weird to settle it on first past the post, and then some 8 to 5 is going to get DQ'd, and a 40 to 1 goes up, and somebody's going to go bananas. But I mean, if you make it very clear in the rules that that's the rule,
Well, right.
It's the rule for everybody,
you'd have to write the rule in a way that everybody knows what they're getting into.
But horse players, somebody's not going to read it and get mad. But yeah,
we will find ways to complain about anything as horse players.
It is part of the DNA. It is part of, not that there aren't things to complain about. I don't mean to make light.
No, that's true.
Of the horse player.
Plenty of things to complain about.
But there are a number of us who are not happy unless we're miserable. I think that's fair.
And misery loves company. So
yeah, exactly.
We're in the right place for it.
You sort of double it up. Pippa Filippo, what a fun name to say on this 3-runner. Is that yours?
Yeah, just maiden special dropper. Just the most basic angle in horse racing history. This is not a good group of horses. This is a very, very weak group. Talked about a couple of weeks ago on the show. This horse has run on dirt before, but a lot of times when you see turf horses who've been running on the turf, much classier animals, trying dirt for the first time, it doesn't matter about the surface change. Usually class prevails. Now, like I said, I know this horse ran up at Pleasanton on the dirt before and just kind of ran evenly, but it was a maiden special weight. So I thought dropping to the bottom here for a barn that's having a very quietly good meet, putting horses where they belong, taking the blinkers off. I thought this horse had a really good shot at a big price. I mean, who else are you scared of in here? Look at the board. It's so weird. You have 2 horses at 3 to 1. You have a 5 to 1, a 9 to 2, and then nobody knows what to do here. This young fillies, young fillies at the lowest level, like these are the most unreliable, inconsistent animals you'll ever see.
Yeah, it's a good race to fish for. We were talking before with JK. I don't think you might have been watching for that point, but Jonathan was talking about how he didn't say it this way, but it's almost like a badge of honor that some of these sequences, and there's multiple 20 to 1 horses, and almost a badge of honor that he doesn't come up with them. But I do think there's a point to be made for fishing in the right pools when it comes to chaos. This might be a place to fish in the right pool and play for chaos because of the level. I mean, there have been players we've known. Actually, one guy who's in the contest ahead of you and has you blocked, Kieran Thornton, I know, plays with.
He has the same horse as me.
Yep.
We have a friendly rivalry. It's so funny. I am basically his motivation, because anytime we play a contest together, if he sees me ahead of him, it drives him nuts. And he goes, it's the live bankroll ones. He's like, and then he starts firing away to try just to pass me, not to win, just to pass me. It's hysterical.
We might need to get you to some couples counseling. That does not sound.
No, I don't care. I never look for his name on the leaderboard. I just worry about myself. But he's like, Scatoni's got a target on his back. It's very funny. But he's very good. You know that.
Yes, but what I was saying about him is he keeps stats on what type of race yields what type of price.
That's right.
It's very interesting. Reminds me a little bit, going way, way back, Frank, a name you probably haven't even heard in 5 years. Do you remember Kim Eisler and
Of
the
course.
Empiricals.
Kim Isaac. Kim
Isaac Eisler.
Isaac Eisler. Yeah, Kim Isaac Eisler, and his daughter Sarah Sophie E. I remember. Yeah, we have a good story about Kim. But go ahead, finish what you're going to say.
But the Empiricals was sort of similar. It was like
Yes, the
looking at races
Empiricals.
and looking for characteristics of that would win a certain race. And this stuff was, I mean, that stuff is still very appealing to me, and you could make some noise with it with ticket construction. I'm still too much of a fundamentalist to fully embrace.
But I
right,
think for the purposes of contests, I think it's super value, especially in the pick and praise. You know, you find the races that yield long shots, and that's where you take your shots.
Kind of amazing. Only 4 runners forced the carryover at Saratoga. I mean, the computers are too good. That's my only possible conclusion when it starts 12-1, 12-1, 7-1.
What was the pool size?
I mean, it had to be huge because it was a carryover already.
Yeah.
So it's, it's worth them swinging at, but it's like, ugh. Anyway, let's hope one of those 4 wins, and then I won't be whining. But all right, Dustin Vest currently in the lead. Tremendous score, 151.16. Chris Couples, our own Chris Couples, looking to get the exacta and get into that 80-runner tournament at the end. That'd be fantastic. Bob Montgomery, 106.72, a regular. Jackson Muniz from BCBC Diaries.
Go Jackson.
Story. Oh, if he could do it through our contest,
that'd be incredible.
So the 4, if you don't win, Frank, we root this 4 in. That'll get him up into the exacta.
All right.
I'm pretty sure 21, 25. Yes, I guess it depends. He could get skunked if Chris ends up with the place. So,
place
but anyway,
points,
there's a lot going on there. Julie Leboyko is the overall tour leader. Looks like she's in a great position to get more points. There's Kieran in 6th. We were speaking of. This is actually his other entry. He has you blocked. This one he has the 6. He has you blocked on the other one where he has the 3. So he's in real good shape. Mark Wilgard, Matt Letexier, Mark Stovall ×2, and he's split between the 8 and the 4, so he's got good chances to get meaningful points. Michael Cavana, Jim Kazupe, David Barnier, Trish Smith, our regular viewer, and then Carolyn Stovall, perhaps evidence of the old adage, the family that plays together stays together. Lots of chances in here as we've got 3 minutes to this one. I think you'll be in good shape to at least advance to Saturday. If you
that
get
would
your
be nice.
Not 100% sure. Actually, we can check real quick. Yeah, I think we won't be able to tell definitively, but it's a decent chance of getting some tour points. But I mean, it's all about, I think when you approach these games, goal number 1 is get in the top 10% and move along.
When does the series end?
Great question, and I have that answer, but I have to look it up. But essentially, it's going to be about a month out from the Breeders' Cup, because what happens is we have our playoffs. So we start with 80 people, and then we cut down 80 to 40 in 1 week, 40 to 20 in the next week, 20 to 10 in the next week, and then those 10 play for the BCBCC, which is always a ton of fun.
Yeah,
I love the fact
awesome.
that Chris, who's doing well, thinks the 1 could force this carryover. David Pierce agrees. That's good. Sharp people thinking we have a chance at this thing. Let me see if I can find the exact schedule of when the regular season ends. But yeah, one thing that I really love about this format is there's no way in which this HorsePlayer Happy Hour format is a tax on the casual player, because you can come in 1 week, finish in the exacta, and win 10,000. Obviously, your chances it rewards the regulars. Your chances go way up to get into that tournament through tour points or by playing more than once. But it really gives everybody a chance to participate, and I really like that about our format.
Very, very cool. I just got to
September 26th.
Make some noise.
September 26th will be the final regular season game. So we're getting there. That means four more opportunities. After today. But again, eight of our 36 for the exact to still go, and then you've got the next 44 top tour finishers. So that could be you could achieve that in 1 week. So anyway, all to play for when it comes to HorsePlayers.
And of course, the Pacific Classic contest is this weekend.
I
The
plugged it before, but
4,001.
tell people the details. And are you going to be
Yeah.
participating?
Yeah, I'll be in it. It's the $4,000 buy-in. I believe it's 1,000 entry fee and 3,000 bankroll, and it's just a one-day tournament on Pacific Classic Day. I'm sure BCBC seats will be part of the prize structure,
They are.
along with NHC.
Cash.
Yeah, cash as well. So
Chris Barr, the man to reach out to at DMTC. You can
and
find
you
all
can play
the
on
details.
TVG also, I think. So I'll be
Excellent.
playing on track, obviously, but I think you can play from home.
Yeah, there is an online contest.
All right,
there.
they're loading, Pete. They're loading.
Okay, I'm seeing it here. So the key number for you is the 3. We're very interested in the 4 for a number
For
of
Jackson.
players.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for all we talked it up, we want something chaotic to
So,
happen.
Jackson and Ryan ended up doing a little StreamYard podcast, for lack of a better word, I guess, a couple of weeks ago, because we put them all together. You got me in
Awesome.
touch with Jackson. I got you in touch with Ryan. They got in touch with each other. It's phenomenal.
That's great. That's what we
All right,
need. Is
they're about to go
good
off.
young content creators, and if we can help those guys get a start, that's good. The 7 did not break is my first note here, as it looks like the 5 is going to make the lead pretty nicely. I'll pull this up. I still have Frank Miramati's words ringing in my ears that it's like complete nails on a chalkboard to any race caller if they hear people calling by the numbers. Of course, I don't claim to be a race caller. They are coming out of the first turn, and Annie's Hope, that 5 runner, is in the lead. The 8, who definitely was on a lot of tickets, that's a horse called Hollywood Penny, in a good spot. Tracking that one, In Your Life, out 3 wide in third, and what looks like the slam dunk Silks. That's your 3 runner, Frank, down at the rail. Pippa Filippa, in a pretty good spot if the rail's okay. Lots of cover, going to need some room to get a run. Going to need this Annie's Hope to come back, but in a good spot. The 4 runner that we talked about as well, the one that Jackson had, Poncho Barnes, up there in the vanguard as well, as they're about halfway around the turn. And this 3 runner, Pippa Filippa, setting out now. She's a small little thing, isn't she? Going for Annie's Hope, but pressing the button now and not responding. Meanwhile, this Annie's Hope just continues to have the momentum. Whip is out, not even fully through the turn. It could prove vulnerable to a late challenge here if anybody can pick up the little bit paddling in behind. Your horse is staying on, though, this Pippa Filippa. Leader hanging on. Big run out in the center of the track from the favorite, a horse called Girl Can the Pit or something. There at the end was blown. The 5 holding Annie's Hope, the 7 runner. Girl Can. What is this horse called? Girl Can't Help It. Sorry. I didn't even look beforehand. That was Grunder-esque there.
I got a little excited.
Your horse
Can
made
you
a
hear
good
me?
run. Yeah, your horse
I
made a
know.
good
For
run.
a second, I thought class might prevail, but so sorry. I got a little exuberant there. Hope I didn't give anyone a seizure. Yeah, I knocked it
I
over.
definitely need to pluck that clip out to humiliate myself too. Girl Can the Pit.
Oh, and I cracked my tablet screen.
Oh no, that's a bad beat.
That's all right. I have a backup, but wow, all that for a $20,000 claimer.
Yeah, your horse definitely ran well. On the turn, I thought you were going to win for a second.
I did
and then
too.
when you were sticking on late as the 5 was getting tired. But yeah, Annie's Hope had too much of a head start. And that's what we say also about this level. They don't like to pass. If you're in front at the pace call, you're going to win a disproportionate number of races.
And I'll also tell you, I would never have that horse in a million years. One of the things that I stick by, when Carla Gaines runs a horse for a tag, anyway, they're absolutely no good. They never win. This
Really?
one won, but such is the case. Oh yeah, it's just horrendous.
That's interesting. Do you have the numbers, or is it just saying you remember
It's
anecdotally?
anecdotal for me. I mean, if she runs them for a tag, it's bad news, and they often get bet. This is a little different because the horse had run for 50, and then dropped again. But when she drops them for a tag for the first time, don't touch with a 10-foot pole.
Interesting. Except this time. But what's the phrase? The exception that proves the rule. Kieran's trash talking you now in the comments. You need to drink handicap. Oh, we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening here.
So yeah, will this shake up the board a little bit or anything? Any
It'll
movement?
definitely have some
7-2.
implications. Yeah, it'll have
And
some
then
implications there later
the
on.
7 got second, and the 7 was the favorite. So
All right, let's see if we can't get this done, and then we'll all eyes on Saratoga's last race to see if we can have an exciting double carryover. It's one of those things. I'm gonna pull a little glass half full here and say, if it's a double carryover, obviously that's a win. That's great. That'll be super exciting to pay attention to. But if it doesn't happen, I'm going to say, well, that's an hour and a half of my life handicapping this
right.
thing, and it's that I have back, especially with the family coming to town. They'll be on their
That's
they'll be on
right.
their bird already. I should actually check in with them. Maybe they have Wi-Fi on the plane. But yeah, in a minute here, we're going to have an official result, and we'll run through this one more time and get to our thank yous and then get out of here. It was great to have Ryan Anderson on today. Sugar. I meant to invite Callum to come on, but I missed obviously the window today. So I hopefully he didn't rush home from Fos Las or wherever he was working today to do the show, only to have me no show him. It's very hard to produce yourself, I have to say.
It's difficult
I
for
admire
2
those
hours.
that can do it. Yeah, it's not easy. All right, let's see if we have this all official. No, we still don't have it official, so we'll wait. Let me know, Frank, when you see some prices up on the screen down there.
Yeah, it's unofficial right now, so you got a minute.
We'll wait and we'll see. But yeah,
what does Callum do?
Callum is a researcher and presenter for Sky Sports.
Oh,
so I
okay.
met him over there a couple of years ago.
It's official.
Okay,
Yeah.
It's official. He's moved into more of an on-air role, and
yeah, he was really good. I enjoyed listening to you guys.
Great on these shows over the years. I just wanted to recap a little of the York action, but we'll get there soon enough. Dustin Vest won with the terrific 151.16.
Wow.
Bob Montgomery with the clutch hit there, knocking an unlucky Chris Couples out of the exacta spot, but not that unlucky. A lot of tour points for third, and he'll go on to play at the weekend, as will Jackson. Ends up with a more than respectable 104.66. Many weeks that's good enough to get into the exacta spot. Today he'll have to settle for tour points and playing on Saturday. Matt Letexier, Julie Leboyko picks up more tour points. Kieran ends up in 7th with 92.74.
Boo! Boo!
Trish Smith, Mark Wilgard, Mark Stovall ×2. One gets tour points. Both go to play on Saturday. Nick Toy, Stephen McNatton, Nancy Spence, Michael Cavana in 15th, Jim Kuzupe, I don't know how Italian he is, in the unlucky 16th spot. But thanks to everybody for playing in this week's Horse Players Happy Hour. I want to thank Ryan once again. Frank will thank you once again. We'll thank JK, of course. We'll thank Callum for waiting on us and not getting the link because I never sent it to him. My bad. But hey, we got to go off the rails a little bit more than usual. You might not have gotten to see Andrew Brown do his thing. We'll thank him too. If we'd had him on, it would have been too dignified. But for the team, for our friends at Breeders' Cup, for our friends at Horse Players, make sure to join next week, Thursday, Horse Players Happy Hour over at horseplayers.com. Show's been a production of In the Money Media. I'm Peter Thomas Fornatal. May you win all your photos.